Right guys, Mark Crossfield here. I'm at Torquay Golf Club with Mr. Dan Hendrickson.
Welcome to Torquay, Mark.
Thanks for having me. And we're going to go and test the new Ping G400 irons. So this is kind of your game improvement iron, if you like, trying to offer as much help as possible. Let's show you what the G400 from Ping might offer. Well, everyone really, because the numbers might show. So let's just get stuck in, I think. So the Ping G400, we're getting this lovely chrome finish, which Ping are calling Hydro Pearl Chrome Finish, which all sounds very fancy, and it does look nice, to be honest. We're going to talk about the looks a bit more, and I'll show you or talk to Dan about what he thinks as well about the looks, because I think Ping are moving in an interesting position at the moment, that they're definitely concentrating a lot on the aesthetics of these clubs, which obviously have got a track record of being proven performers, if you like. We're getting Core Eye technology on the back, so we've seen that in Ping for a while now, but it's kind of much more visible with this dampening round the outside. We get weight off the face as well here at the back, and it's a cavity back, kind of generous size iron, a fair amount of offset, but the top line is really slender. The way they've shaped it, you look down at it, and I have to say, it's probably one of the nicest game improvement irons I think I've ever seen. So I'm 174 out, and it's downhill and the ball's a bit kind of going down from me, so I reckon the 7-iron can reach. Let's give it a hit. Like I say, looks great down by the ball. It makes a pretty good to aggressive sound. I mean, that has flown pin high. And bearing in mind that ball was kind of below me, so going away from me, that got up in the air really easily, which is kind of one of the points with this club. It's not afraid to launch up in the air. The sound is fine, but relatively aggressive. Let's show you some of the dry ball data numbers that I and Dan have collected with this iron. So G400 irons, you've got myself and Dan's numbers here, so it's very interesting. We're both carrying it 160, I'm 161 to his 160. I'm going a fraction higher, but the heights are very similar. He had a miss hit there at 28, which makes his peak height a little bit lower. He is launching lower, spinning more. I'm launching slightly higher and spinning less. So where for me, the G in a 7-iron spinning at 6,000 is a little low on the spin, which is what you'd expect from a game improvement iron. Dan actually could game these because he is spinning them up near the 7,000 revs, which is where you'd want to spin a 7-iron. Interesting numbers to see how important fitting is, isn't it? It's going to go so much on looks and feels there, and the fact that I'm scared of that spin number in a gaming environment. So Dan, same distance, going to have a go. Aesthetics, Dan, how do you think it looks to your eye?
Just looking, I've always moved away from these game improvement irons, but to me that looks a little bit better. I don't like the offset look on some of them.
So the offset is something that you look down at and it kind of just puts you off?
It does. It just, my bad shots as a youngster growing up was always a bit left, and therefore that's always in my mind.
So that scares you?
So it does scare me a little bit. So looking down at an offset club can really throw me just before taking the shot. So
spinning this club more realistically, that's a great shot. Drawing into the middle of the green. I mean, and that's on a. I mean, that's gone over the back, and that's
long.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing for us with these clubs is, I think certainly for me, it's the low spin, like I said, on the dry ball numbers that scares me.
Yeah.
Where I think for your average kind of golfer, that's going to assist them in some distance. So when they're running it on, for us who are trying to land it pin high, the fact that the spin can be a bit low. Not that it was that low for you, but it's certainly lower than the clubs you play.
Absolutely.
Can maybe scare us of going over the back of
Absolutely.
greens.
I mean, that's flown, for me, that's flown a long way.
Yeah.
That's flown a long way.
So Dan has pitched past pin high, rolling over the back, and I have gone, which you could see from the dry data test, I just kind of sneaked the distance, but bounce takes its effect. So certainly the club's filling the brief that they're meant to fill, which is to give kind of distance and in theory help people play. I mean, the debate if they help or not is what I'm continually trying to explore, but for us, I could see maybe how weaker golfers would benefit from these flights.
Definitely.
Right, so we're 168 par 3 now, and one of the big discussions when it comes to clubs like these is, are they as gameable as others? And I always think they are, because if you think about it, I can hit this club probably higher than other clubs, so it might even give me more range of movement, because left to right is me, it's not going to be that. high and low, that can assist.
Okay.
So I actually always argue, I think these kind of irons are more gameable. But we have got 168 yards par 3, slightly into the wind, but this is too much club.
Yeah.
We're both going to try and either do what we do to hit it slightly shorter, little cuts, or swing slower.
Yeah.
Which you've done, you just didn't start it left. But that is a high cut. We'll get up there and see where it finished. I'm also going to go for the high cut. Well, I didn't need much more, did it? So you can see there, I was pin high and down there was just past pin high. I mean, I felt like I could move that, control that as good as any other club.
I started it way too far right, but
Yeah,
I did.
but
feel
that's
like I
you,
could
isn't
move
it?
That's me. That's that club looking slightly left on me again.
Okay, so you're reacting to the
I'm probably
offset.
holding that just slightly open, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to override those things. I mean, I've tested clubs for a long time as well, so I can switch those emotions off quite easily. You got to remember that's from a tee.
Yeah.
I think the last test we should do is let's get in the rough.
Yeah.
Spin drops off. I'm worried with low spin clubs.
Yeah.
Let's go and test it.
It flies. Yeah.
So we're 120 out, uphill slightly into the wind, so it's really on the limit of my wedge and probably yours, Dan, isn't it?
Yeah, this is right on the limit for me.
But we're obviously from rough ball lies. So I think from the dry tests, Dan might not see any issue with this because he puts enough spin off maybe to allow some to drop off, where for me, this is where I get scared with low spinning clubs. Let's see what the wedge can do. Struck pretty good?
Yeah, hit that good. Went really high.
It did go up, didn't it? Let's get up there
Really
and see where that one went. I'll have a go first. I mean, I think the wedge is a nice shape as well, isn't it? For like a game improvement iron.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be bigger.
Like shovelly, but it's not, is it?
It's nice.
Got to take your hat off at the minute to Ping what they're doing with looks. I think they're like moving the game forward for their sets in what clubs can look like for a Ping.
Good.
That wow, it's got plenty of height. We are on a slight upslope. Oh, we'll get up and let's show them where that one's finished. So I am over the back struggling now. But let's be clear here, Ping are not designing these clubs for me. They would never give me these clubs to use in my bag. Where you can see from the dry number and obviously the on-course test there, Dan could use these clubs. Apart from the offset you struggle with.
Aesthetically looking down, I just struggle with that, but I think it's something I could possibly get used to, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely get used to that, but it felt great.
Yeah,
felt
absolutely.
Great height, great flight.
Yeah, and I like the height.
Yeah.
I don't care about the offset, I can look over that.
Yeah.
It's that low spin for me that scares me, but it shows you the importance, A, of fitting,
Yeah.
B, of trying to test on a course, because you've got to game them. You're not always playing from a dry mat off a tee. The numbers are going to vary so much. You put me on a tee with these clubs and I feel I can do whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
It's when you put me in situations that they worry me for my game, but I could see them helping a lot of golfers.
Absolutely, I think so.
So G400, I love what they've done with looks. I don't think personally it's going to see a big differences, even though the numbers are big, 40% thinner faces and all those kind of things, which I'm sure they're very proud of. I don't think you'll see that day in, day out, which I've kind of been saying about all clubs for a long time. But I think G400 with the looks like they are at the moment, the kind of game improvement ideas and feels it kind of gives you in its appearance as well, will open these clubs up to the normal Ping fans and hopefully some more. Definitely go and try this club. I think it's doing a lot of good things. It's just if you struggle from low spin like I do, you might want to look in their range for something that's not so chunky at the bottom with weight off the back. Post comments down below, let me know what you think. Also let me know what you think about Dan's numbers as well. I quite like the idea of getting some other numbers on there just to show you the difference of even two players who appear to hit the ball very similar, how custom fit and making sure you're testing the clubs is always going to override those kind of really basic dry ball data numbers.